So you could see how he approaches Thompson from the back before then, where we freeze the video, he fires those shots at Thompson.
There are many thoughts on the United Healthcare CEO killing.
Let's not mince words. It was a murder. The man was murdered. You know what I mean? And the news would describe it as if it was the singular event in history. This horrific crime that took place in the streets of New York in broad daylight, this harrowing attack. And I'm not saying that it wasn't. I'm just saying that the woman in the video with her coffee that got out of the way didn't spill.
Comedian Josh Johnson, one of the best in the game today, has lots to share.
All right, tons of evidence found on this man, Luigi Mangione, when he was arrested at that McDonald's, including all those fake IDs.
The employee that thought it was him that, I guess, started the initial investigation on it. I talked to her later. I said, was I here when he came in? And she goes, yeah. And she goes, actually, you and your friends and all were making a joke, almost like saying, you know, and that's pretty much about it. I mean, he ordered, went to the rear of the store and sat.
All right, you're just hearing there from a customer at the McDonald's yesterday morning in Altoona, Pennsylvania.
Maybe the funniest part of it all?
He's eating a McDonald's hash brown, which means somebody woke up early to snitch. Damn, barely awake at 9 o'clock. I don't know. Blinking, oh, that must be him. Let me make the call. You know? And what's even crazier about that is apparently, at least as of the time I am talking to you, it looks like that McDonald's worker that called him is not gonna get the reward money. Which, wow. Is not gonna get the reward money. And people were looking it up. The person was like, why wouldn't I get the reward money? Everything. Apparently, what they were told and what the internet says is like, actually the process of collecting reward money for turning someone in is very complicated because there's an amount that has to be approved by two different bodies, and one body approved the $10,000, but when it got up to like 50, 60, it wasn't approved by both bodies. So then when they turned them in, they may not get anything at all, actually, because there's so much confusion around how much to give them or if it's the full amount. And I'm like, damn, that's kind of wild to me, because there was no confusion when they called and they were like, here. So y'all coming or?
Reports are indicating Johnson is right. The employee who called the police on Luigi Mangione may not get the reward that was offered.
As Luigi Mangione, suspect in the shooting death of the United Healthcare CEO, sat down to eat at an Altoona, Pennsylvania McDonald's, other customers thought he looked familiar. Mangione was taken into custody and is awaiting extradition to New York City, where he faces a second-degree murder charge.
Completely out of touch and an insult to the intelligence of the American people.
On that reward, though, once more.
That's why they, in my opinion, they did it wrong. You know, if you're gonna call and you're gonna tell people that he's here, don't call the police right away. Get your money up. Call Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call Blue Cross Blue Shield and be like, hey, I know you don't know me, but I think I might have eyes on your boy. And we don't know what he gonna do next, so what are you thinking, 50, 60? I'm just wondering how much he's worth to you, you know what I mean? Because I could make some other calls if you want. I can call a couple different people, about 6 providers. Y'all got a real monopoly going on, so. Okay, because he might be here, he might not. Hurry up, it looked like he leaving. But then they're like, oh no, actually, I'm the FBI and the local police have to decide on an amount, and then there's like an arbitration process and everything. It's just so funny that like this whole thing happened, and then them trying to get their money just sounds like an insurance claim.
A hilariously true point by Johnson, amongst many he made in his must-watch material.
The suspect at the center of the shocking killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson is now officially charged with his murder. We're going to be talking about Luigi Mangione, and since his arrest, shocking details have emerged about this Ivy League graduate's seeming fall from grace, from his powerful family ties to the chilling circumstances of how he was caught. Here's everything we know about the man who allegedly killed the CEO of one of the largest health insurance companies in the country.
Touching on a story inside the story. To many, at least. How aesthetically pleasing the alleged shooter is, which Johnson touches on.
And they put his picture all over the news and everything, and it turns out that he is very good looking. Like, just upsettingly good looking, almost objectively in a way, like crazy. Everything in its right place and everything's good. Strong eyebrows with a big smile and everything, and just all the pictures. Because you know when the news catch you, when the police catch you, they try to put up some, depending on who you are. This usually happens to black people, but it happens to white people once in a while too, where they try to find the craziest picture they can of you. And I think they tried, but it was tough work, because he is a good-looking individual. Every picture looked good. He would just be with model rockets, looking like a model. Like, it was crazy. They take his mug shot, and the mug shot looked like a cologne ad. Like, that was upsetting to me as a fellow man. I was like, y'all gotta get one bad pic, please. One bad picture. He was doing everything in that mug shot but biting his lip. Like,
It's true. From his mugshots to his clean cuts after being in jail, Mangione has, it appears, not just the respect of those in prison, but some even on the outside watching his trial closely.
But I do think to call this an act of terrorism is an insult to the intelligence of the American people. Terrorism is something designed to strike fear into the hearts of non-combatant civilians, right? The general population. Nobody but a tiny class of CEOs has been made to live in fear by Luigi's actions, but nearly everybody knows what it's like to live in fear of having a necessary medical claim denied. The fear of having your life ruined or potentially ended by a stack of medical bills. And I think in a system with so much violence that's directed from the top down, it should come as no surprise when violence begins to boomerang back from the bottom up onto the 1%. Also, I would like to remind you on the subject of terrorism, nearly 3,000 Americans lost their lives on 9/11, right? This is the largest terrorist attack this country has ever seen. An estimated 190,000 people are murdered each year by our broken healthcare system. That is the equivalent of 52 9/11s worth of deaths every year. Every single week, another 9/11 happens. So I gotta ask, who is the more prolific terrorist in this equation?
Former Majority Report contributor Jamie Peck hit the nail on the head in her interview with Chris Cuomo at News Nation. Johnson, meanwhile, explains further.
I'm not gonna lie, Luigi, he went to Starbucks, and then he did that murder, and then he hopped on a city bike and he left New York and everything. If you the CEO of Starbucks, you gotta be like, oh, thank goodness. You know, Starbucks does stuff too. Starbucks, they love that labor. They love that cheap labor. CEOs are freaking out, you know, across the board. Who would have thought? Who would have thought CEOs were family? Do you know what I mean? Like, and let's be clear about something. Don't mistake the different CEOs that commented on this, the ones that stayed scared, the ones that appealed to a different way of doing things while they keep doing everything the same way. Don't mistake their self-preservation for empathy. Some people started turning on Luigi and then rooting for the CEO. It was odd because people got too wrapped up in the money. But for me, it's not the money specifically. It wasn't about who's rich and who has more money than who. It was about a system that destroys people's lives, you know? It was about the fact that some jobs make you a monster and there are some jobs you have to be a monster to do. You know what I mean?
Be sure to check out Josh Johnson's YouTube channel where he posts tons of long-form content. Hit the sub button while you're at it. His Instagram for more clips and, of course, posts. His TikTok page while you still can. And his website, Josh Johnson Comedy, for tour updates. Who knows? He may be coming to a town near you.
I think it's stupid. Between the better player.
Yeah, I think Angel Reese really don't want to play basketball. I think she want to sell.
Nah,
she trying to look, Chuck.
She coming out too sexual.
Dub, nah, I ain't gonna let you do that one.
You ain't.
She's trying to. I'm trying to have us at the WNBA All-Star.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's your take.
Hey, now B.A. don't never defend the WNBA, so for him to do this, I love this.
I think she's just trying to make sure she don't look like a dude. Like she's trying to keep it like I'm
she's trying to brand outside of basketball.
Yeah, like I'm a woman. I like men.
She tapping into that side. She tapping into that side of it.
No, she not. Yeah. It's so many. It's a WNBA player that look like me and you. So she's trying to make it seem like
more girly.
Yeah,
she's trying to make it more like you can still be attracted to.
You ain't got to be left-handed to play the W. Basically, what she's saying.
It's a Charleston White and a BN on the FIFA right there. Ooh, she's trying to switch the narrative, bro.
I'll take that, dude.
And they dress it like this.
I'll take that. But I still think she need to do OnlyFans, like Shaq said. She need to dunk in her panties. Shaq told her that. Told her she needed to go dunk in her panties.
Let's pause here. Who is that man? You might know him, you might not. His name is Charleston White. And he is a dude that celebrates Donald Trump winning the presidency, dresses up in Confederate flags, and believes hurting women is the way to handle them.
Yeah. Give me some free game. Like, how would you approach a woman like Brittany?
You gotta handle her rough. You gotta be a dominant man to deal with Brittany Renner.
When you say rough, you're not talking about domestic violence, rough.
Yeah, domestic violence.
No, man, no.
Yeah, well, you asked. I'm telling you, yeah, she one of them ones you gotta kick in the ass sometime. Slap her across her head, sit down somewhere.
No.
Man, ain't being Uncle Curtis done it, and they stayed together 40, 50 years. All good relationships, somebody gotta take kicking somewhere in the relationship. That's the only way y'all gonna stay together.
Right, we're gonna cut that out.
Man, ask that. Man, everybody got whoop. Man, you can't tell you can't whoop his when she getting out of line. She the kind you got
So the woman that you was with, you put your hands on your woman?
I will.
I think the WNBA should be canceled. Yeah, I hate the WNBA. Can't dunk no balls. Yeah, I hate them WNBA.
I ain't the reason why we just start setting. I be looking at the way she dressed. She don't want to play basketball. She got that spirit. Is she a basketball player? Don't no woman play basketball. Them boys. don't no real woman shoot no hoop. They learn home economics. All the lesbian boys play. Yeah, so she sells some to get you OnlyFans. She'll make way more money OnlyFans than trying to shoot a jump shot.
Yeah, she's transitioning, man. I mean, she was open. She said that she only makes $74,000 a year. But she makes more money.
Man, give me some. I'll get her that. I'll double that a year. And we ain't got all the time. Yeah, we just sometime and hang out. But no, man, she ain't transitioning. She really want to be. Look how she dressed.
So just to be clear, this is who the Club 520 podcast decided to platform. And hey, just a quick break in the action. You should go subscribe to my new show, The Rick Strom Show. I'm going to be interviewing people from sports, music, journalists, authors, sports doctors. It's going to be fantastic. Please go subscribe. Thank you.
It's wild for saying that.
Y'all, stop.
I'm with you, Shaq. I'm with you. Some lace panties. Not no boy shorts. I'm with you, Shaq.
Johnson said not the boy shorts?
No, dunk in some panties with no bra on. Watch what them numbers do. That's how you sell tickets.
Nah, we don't need that. That's why we got Caitlin. Caitlin keeping it cool.
Yeah, Caitlin keeping it cool.
You know what I mean? It's girls that look like Caitlin that are straight. She's trying to say, hey, I have a man. You know what I mean? Push that narrative.
Yeah, y'all call it.
Angel Reese is trying to push some sex appeal to the WNBA. Like we
they
ain't
still
all
when they on the road. Yeah, most of them on the road.
What mass majority of them are for sure.
Yeah. They putting pressure on the ones that ain't.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Pause once more. Let me ask a quick question here. Y'all want to go to the WNBA All-Star Game. If you wished to be there and you would like to be there and stay in the good graces of the league, why would you have this individual on your show? It's a simple question.
Shout out to the WNBA, man. All-Star Game coming soon. We trying to tap in. We need it back. It's in NAP too. You got to pull back up the W All-Star Game, man.
You can go sit down and talk to him about that.
Man, I ain't fit to watch no play no basketball.
Come on, man. Oh, we got to go.
I ain't fit to watch no play no basketball.
This
ain't got nothing to do with the podcast. They can't dunk. Yeah, can't none of them jump from the
They
field.
are dunking now, though. It's a couple of them.
You
gotta watch it, bro. You gotta tap in. Like you know, Juju Watkins.
Man, we need an OnlyFans WNBA game. Yeah, then I tune in, but I ain't finna watch them long leg women run up and down the court with them. With them knees. Yeah, man, with them knees.
Now, those who have followed the W for years, decades even, and covered the league are, well, peeved.
The video opened up with them saying Angel Reese don't want to be a basketball player. She needs to go sell her and she needs to be on OF. Angel Reese is 22 years old. We know her from her college career. And it's just like, at what point are these black men with platforms, especially in sports? Because in that same conversation, they were like, all right, we need to chill because we want to go to WNBA All-Star Weekend. Are you joking? Why would any black man feel comfortable speaking or joking about Angel Reese like that? Why is that funny? And I feel like I'm the party pooper and I am taking too serious and I'm always the woman defender. I feel like I need to get contracted as the Angel Reese defense attorney at this point because I don't understand why people feel comfortable talking about her the way that they do.
Strom says the most disgusting things, and the whole time the host of this podcast, the three other guys, are just laughing. And sometimes they're like, hey, but they're not even putting up much of a protest at all. So here's what was said. Charleston starts by implying that Angel Reese is gay for Caitlin Clark, that she wants to see her, and that she's too sexual. Then one of the hosts, this guy, is like, hey, we want to get invited to WNBA All-Stars, not too much on that. One of the other hosts then clarifies that Angel's just trying to make sure that everyone knows that she likes men and that she is a woman. This guy then goes into, I'm not learning their names, I don't care. He goes into about how WNBA players, they look like you or me, pointing to the guys, like WNBA players look like men.
Let's pause again. That video is courtesy of Coach Jackie on TikTok.
By the way, through all of these comments, they can't stop laughing. This is hilarious to them. Like, he'll say something and they'll be like, hey, that's inappropriate, through laughter. And barely trying to stop it. And then going into the fact that, it's wrong that they're all gay and that they need to have some straight rep in the WNBA. And this guy brings up Brittany Griner and how she particularly does not look like a woman, how they think a woman should look. And then he says that she should have not been released from prison. By the way, through all of these comments, they can't stop laughing. This is hilarious to them. Like, he'll say something and they'll be like, hey, that's inappropriate, through laughter. And barely trying to stop it. And then going into the fact that, it's wrong that they're all gay and that they need to have some straight rep in the WNBA. And this guy brings up Brittany Griner and how she particularly does not look like a woman, how they think a woman should look. And then he says that she should have not been released from person. Truly disgusting. So for a few minutes at the start of their end of the year video, they do apologize. And this is the summary of the apology. The first thing he says, Jeff Teague, in his apology, is that some things, this is a quote, were taken out of context.
No, it wasn't taken out of context, Jeff. And I respect your game. And I think your show at times is fantastic. This was a huge miss. A big swing and a big miss. Nothing was taken out of context because you provided the context. You gave this man a seat and a microphone. You platformed the context, Jeff.
Very interesting, very interesting. They also said they talk about women's basketball more than any other podcast. So we should give them their flowers for that. Are you kidding me?
You know what this reminds me of? Remember when Stephen A. Smith had that verbal spar session with Monica McNutt on First Take? McNutt got the better of Stephen A. Talking about how they could have done this years ago by talking about the W, but the only time they do it is with Caitlin Clark. And Stephen A. then went on his Stephen A. Smith show, right? And he decided to say, you wouldn't know about Kimberly Martin, and you wouldn't know about Andrea Carter, and you wouldn't know about Monica McNutt, and you wouldn't know about Shanae Ogwumike if it wasn't for me. I'm the reason you know about all of these fine voices that I have platformed because it's all me. And I've been talking about the WNBA longer than anybody else has. Like I stated previously and will reiterate again, the WNBA hasn't been talked about by other people for way longer, who dedicate their lives to discussing the game that you decide to talk about once Caitlin Clark is a thing. I mean, that's when the show really picked up steam. And that's the only time that you and Shannon Sharp really ever delved into it. That was it. So miss me with all that, because people have been doing it for many, many years. Many, many years. Longer than you have, actually. So I find this to be very disrespectful that Jeff Teague would pull the, I've been talking about the W longer than anybody else has. No, you haven't. You haven't. I respect your game, but again, woof.
And he even said he had no idea this was happening until somebody told him about it. Like, after it happened on the live stream, they weren't ashamed. They weren't thinking, oh, God, a lot of people just saw that because they were in their boys' club. Oh, I forgot. They also gave Angel her props. They said that she's setting an example for straight girls that want to know they can be pretty and play basketball. Just kind of doubling down on what they said in the first clip about how basically all gay women are ugly and gross and basically men. And as Angel Reese, she's has straight vibes, so we'll give her that. The way they weave in the homophobia into the misogyny is genuinely unprecedented and impressive. It's crazy work.
So let's learn something from this, shall we? Let's learn that in 2025, you don't give a microphone to people like this because you know what they're about. This man has a laundry list of deplorable comments that are incredibly misogynistic. And yet you think it's a good idea because your fans want him on the show. And this was on your Patreon. So let me see if I got this straight. If your fans want Charleston White on the show, you know what that means? It means that a large portion of them really like what Charleston White has to say, probably agree with more than 80% of what he says in degrading women, and there was no point in having a WNBA-focused conversation with that deplorable man. But you did it. You stepped in it and you did it. And what I find to be very interesting is the apology has even been bad. Like, at this point, just own it and be done. Be done. Because the more that you try to right this wrong, which is a big wrong, you're just stepping in it again and again